Ancient history of economics thoughts, from ancient Greek thoughts to Physiocracy. Ancient Greek thoughts. Plato, philosopher and student of Socrates, Plato's ideal state contains three classes. The producer class produces good, the guardian class protects the state, and the ruling class, the rulers. The producer has private property, the justice of the state. The justice of the state will take place when each class carries out its role. Theory of education. There should be state-regulated education system, communist social system. There should be a communism of wives and property for the guardian and ruling class. Aristotle, a student of Plato and teacher of Alexander the Great. Economics is looked at from ethical angle and is based on human needs. He gave the concept of subjective perception of values. The state should be prosperous and self-sufficient with the division of labor. He distinguished between economics, the wealth consumption to satisfy wants, and criminalistics, which is money making. Things have two uses, the proper use and the improper or secondary use. Aristotle's idea on money, exchange, and values. Ethics and economics don't go together. Money lending at a rate of interest is unnatural. Growth of money will lead to increase in production and exchange. Money is a medium of exchange and represents the common demand for goods. Demand comes from the desirability of the good or the use value. The instrument of production gets their value from the instrument of action. The more the subjective value of a good, the more the value of the means to create that product. Aristotle's empire is good. He discusses communism of the ruling class. People are different, so they specialize and take up different occupations. Chinese school of thought. Confucius. Important Confucius ideas. That should come from people's productive ability and is limited to 1/10 of the produce of land. Government spending should match its revenue. Each person should live according to their social status. The first obligation of the ruler is people's well-being. The government should be non-interfering but also provide assistance to production and make distribution of income equitable. After Confucius' death, there were two streams of thoughts. The legalists, they believed that people followed their self-interest, so there should be a strict centralized control of rewards and punishment in the form of state power as well as a legal system of control. The followers of these ideas were Han Se-pyu and Quan Chung. The Maoists, Muji, student of Confucius but rejected his ideas. He believed that economic harmony and welfare is only possible under monarchy. He disliked class distinction and luxury. Government effectiveness will be more if it follows a disciplined hierarchy and centralized sovereignty. Indian economic thoughts. Kautilya Chanakya of the Mauryan Empire wrote the Arthashastra. He advocated tax exemption for the vulnerable. It is better to have a large number of people paying tax at a low rate than have a few people paying tax at a high rate. He stated that taxes should be collected once a year, should not cause trouble for the public, and it should be collected according to the ability to pay. The revenue collector should be honest and professional, otherwise it will lead to the loss of revenue. Kautilya specified the terms of tax learning and fixed a timetable for the payment of taxes. Some of the taxes were custom duty, transactional tax, share of the production, included 1/6 of the share, tax in cash, tax in kind, and so on. Scholasticism. It took place in Europe during the medieval times. Scholasticism arose from the feudalism social structure. Saint Thomas Aquinas, Italian priest and medieval philosopher, was influenced by scholasticism and Aristotle, and he synthesized these two ideas. He viewed natural law as ethics derived from the observation of the fundamental norms of human nature. Economic transactions are humans' effort to get material provided by nature. Private property is good because it fulfills the man's inherent desire for order. The state must ensure that a legal framework is in place for commercial life. Civil law is to reflect natural order. The moral good of trade is dependent on the motives and the conduct of traders. Since there is a risk associated with transportation of goods, the merchant deserves the profit, which must be used for some good end. On exchange and balance, the problem of exchange was more important in the barter system. Balance should be established on goods for exchange to take place, on usury. In the scholastic time, usury is any charges of interest. The loan was treated as a good and not as a form of creating wealth. Aquinas was against interest on loans because it conflicted with the natural law. On good and justice, Galactics believed that man is directed to his interaction with the society by his free will. It is the reconciliation of mankind's various aims with what is best for the society that will promote good. Mercantilist thoughts. It prevailed in Europe between the 16th and 18th century. The mercantilists were administrators, merchants, and businessmen, and had certain common characteristics in their ideals. Factors that gave rise to mercantilism are political, economic, religious, cultural, and scientific ones. Wealth. Since economy was based on wealth, countries needed plenty of precious metal, especially gold. Foreign trade. The aim of trade is to accumulate gold, and for that, exports should be greater than imports. Commerce and industry. These were considered as a vital parts of economy. Agriculture was considered as the least productive. The manufacturing sectors were closely linked to commerce. The government will protect this sector. Population. A large population is required to join the military and to increase the productive capacity. Huge labor population reduce the cost of production. Natural resources. Maximum resources should be exploited to produce more, export more, and reduce the need of input. Agriculture must supply food. Colonies are to provide raw materials directly to the mother country. Wage and rent. Only attention was given to the production and not on the distribution of wage and rent. Interest. Thomas More thought that interest was important, but loans could be provided to help the poor merchant and also to utilize the savings of the widows. Occupation. Occupation was productive if it brought wealth to the nation, such as merchants. Land banking schemes. There was establishment of land banking schemes which were introduced by Chamberlain and Baring. Role of the state. Acts were passed to promote export and to develop the industry. Protection was given to the industry to promote favorable trade balance. Factors of production. According to the mercantilist, there are three factors: land, labor, and capital. Labor is the father and active principle of wealth, as land is the mother. William Petty. Cultivating agricultural wasteland should be done to increase production of food and make the country self-reliant, reducing imports. Commercial regulation. There were restrictions on import of food, but none on the import of raw material since it was to be used for industrial development. The state helped export industry and shipping sector. Theory of value. The mercantilists recognize the market value and also the fact that scarcity determines this value. Normal value of the good lies on the cost of production. Physiocracy. It was followed in France in the middle of the 18th century. It was also known as the agricultural system. The physiocracy was a reaction against mercantilism and was led by Quine and Turgot. The physical ideal, natural ideal, it is made by God for man's welfare. It is universal and unchangeable. The society governed by natural law is an ideal society. Net product. Agriculture is the only sector that gives net surplus, which is also called product net or net product. Commerce and industry are dependent on agriculture for raw material. Commerce transfers the product from one hand to another, while industry modifies raw material. Circulation of wealth. The idea of distribution was given by Cunnay. Being a doctor, he tried to compare the circulation of wealth with the circulation of blood. The society is divided into classes, such as the productive class, which consists of the farmers, the proprietary class, which consists of the landlord and the king, and the servile class or unproductive ones. Included people in professions that are non-agricultural. Out of the three classes, farmers are productive because soil generates wealth. The sterile class produces no surplus. The net surplus produced by the farmers are used by the sterile and preparatory class. The practical ideas. Interest. Capital comes from saving, so there should be interest on capital. Interest should be charged for loans used for agriculture. Population. Large population is good as it increases consumption, which leads to increase in production and wealth. Taxation. The single tax system should be based on agriculture since land produces surplus. Private property. Private property is important and the landlords are entitled to two-fifths of the surplus because they are in charge of making the land cultivatable and providing the farmers the funds for cultivation. Trade. Industry and commerce are unproductive. Foreign trade does not generate wealth. But countries should trade to get goods that it cannot produce. Function of the state. The state should play minimum interference role but also protect the country, life, liberty and property of the people, provide universal education and conduct public work.